Hi everyone, welcome to a reading vlog. So, I have been wanting to do another vlog since I finally posted one vlog, trying to keep up the momentum and continue vlogging. This one, I am attempting to do a theme for this vlog. It's a very vague theme though, it's like pretty broad. It's just summer, because I have two books that have the word summer in their title, and I keep thinking every time I look at them, I was like, oh, I should read these in the summer, and then decided I should just read them in a vlog together, and maybe add one or two other books to kind of round things out. But that's the theme, is summer, and just reading books with the word summer in the title. I'm giving myself pretty much all of the month of July for this vlog so that I have plenty of wiggle room throughout the month to mood read among the books that I have selected, and to maybe like read some other things in between so that maybe I will actually stick to my TBR for this theme, and that's the goal right now. So today is Friday, July 1st, and I'm off from work today. I took off so that I could have a 4-day weekend for the 4th of July weekend. So that's going to be a really nice way to start off July, because June has been just an incredibly intense month at work. It's been very exhausting. So it's going to be nice to have some extra time to get some reading done at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month I am going to be going camping. So July is hopefully going to just be a more relaxing month for me. Anyways, this was a whole preamble. Let's talk about what books I'm going to be reading for this vlog. So I have the two books that I own physically, so these are going to be my main priority for the vlog. The first one is Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. This is YA contemporary fabulism. I think it takes place on an island. I think it's about two sisters that everyone in their family at a certain age gets like a magical power. One of the sisters has gotten her magical power, the other one hasn't, and then it's kind of like, you know, like, is she going to get magic and what's going on? I think that is what this is about. That's about all I know. I'll be able to tell you more once I get more into the book, but this is one that's been on my TBR for a while and I've really been meaning to read, so I'm excited to get to it. The other book that I have is Summers at Castle Auburn by Sharon Shin. This is one that I got more recently, but I am really excited to read this because it's often recommended for fans of Juliet Marillier, so that's always exciting. But this is more just like adult high fantasy. The plot for this is pretty vague from what I can tell. Like, every description that I read about this book like gives me nothing about what this is actually about. All I really know is that our main character is the illegitimate child of a royal lord. She has spent every summer living at this like manor or castle, I guess, Castle Auburn, and she has fallen in love with a prince that she can never be with. Other than that, I don't know. It seems like things turn sinister at some point, because it says, what she once loved she has lost, where she once saw joy she now sees terrible injustice, and at the castle where she once lived in peace she now walks in fear for her life. So that tells me nothing about what the plot is actually like, but I guess something sinister happens. But I am excited to get to this. So these are the two that are going to be my main focus for this vlog. And actually, both of these were gifts from my friend Kara. So thank you, Kara, for sponsoring this video. Yeah, then I do have another book that is on its way to me. I decided there's a graphic novel called This One Summer. I don't know too much about it, but it has summer in the title, and that's what matters for this vlog. It should be coming in the next day or two, hopefully. So that'll be like something quick to read. And then I would like one more book. I want like an audiobook to listen to. I have a couple of different options, some more likely than others for me to read. So one option that is honestly probably the least likely that I will pick is The Summer Tree by Guy Gavriel Kay. So the reason this is least likely is because I probably want to read a different book from him. I've been wanting to read Guy Gavriel Kay for a long time. I actually own 2 of his books physically, and so I feel like I should probably read one of the books that I already own. I also have heard from people who are more familiar with his books that The Summer Tree may not be the best place to start with his work, so I'm thinking I'm going to be starting somewhere else with his books. But yeah, so that is an option technically, but probably the least likely that I would read. But that one is fantasy, kind of like historical fantasy is the impression that I get from his books. Another book that is a possibility is Summer Queen. I believe the author's name is Elizabeth Chadwick. And this is more just like historical fiction about a queen. I don't know too much else about it. But if I have been in the mood for historical fiction recently. And then my third option is It Happened One Summer by, I think the author is Tessa Bailey, which is contemporary romance, so very different genre, but that would be just a very fun, easy, quick book to read. I do have to like be in the right mood for contemporary romance though, so I'm not sure, like it's just gonna kind of depend on like what mood am I in throughout July and what I feel like listening to. But so those are some of the ones that are on my radar as my audiobook for this. I'm thinking right now that I'm going to start with Summer of Salt because that's kind of what I'm feeling like I'm in the mood for at the moment. But yeah, I will check in with you once I have an update. Hello, so I have a reading update for you, but first, my package came. I'm pretty sure this is the graphic novel that I ordered, so I thought I would open it up and then I will tell you my thoughts so far on Summer of Salt, because that is what I ended up starting with. Also, as always, ignore this pile of fabric on this chair. It doesn't exist. You don't see this. Anyways, let's open this up. But yeah, so I got a used version. So this is from like an indie seller. And I think this should be, yes, this is the graphic novel that I ordered this one summer by Jillian and Mariko Tamaki. So this looks very cute. It does have stickers on the cover. Are these real stickers? These are real stickers, but they also seem very firmly attached to the book, and like if I tried to get them off, they would really destroy the cover. So I guess they're staying on. But ooh, the whole thing is like in tones of purple. I don't know if this is spoilers or not, but it's all very like purpley. Anyway, let's find out what this is about because I have no idea. I pretty much just saw the title and the cover and was like, that looks good, and I could get it pretty cheaply used, so I decided to just like buy it. Let's look at the description. So it says, Rose and her parents have been going to Awago Beach since she was a little girl. It's her summer getaway, her refuge. Her friend Wendy is always there too, like the little sister she never had, completing her summer family. But this summer is different. Rose's mom and dad won't stop fighting, and Rose and Wendy have gotten tangled up in a tragedy in the making in the small town of Awago Beach. It's a summer of secrets and heartache, and it's a good thing Rose and Wendy have each other. So this sounds like it's gonna be a little more serious or a little more sad, I guess, than I was anticipating from like the cute cover. This is what I get for impulse buying this and not really reading the description. But I still definitely want to give it a try and see how it is. I like the artwork, so yeah, gonna be reading this soon. But before I do, give you an update on Summer of Salt. So I did start reading this. I'm about halfway into it. And so far I am liking it. I'm not loving it, but I am liking it and I'm having a good time reading it. So I can tell you a little bit more now what the book is actually about. So it takes place on this little island called By the Sea. And our main character is Georgina. She has a twin sister named Mary, and their mom owns like the inn, the one like inn slash bed and breakfast kind of place on the island. And in their family, the women in their family almost always have some kind of magical power. It can take different forms. There are rare exceptions, but for the most part, women in their family have magical powers. For some people, it shows up from birth, like her sister Mary has been able to float her entire life. And for some people, it doesn't show up until like the day before they turn 18, but their powers always show up before they turn 18. Georgina does not have powers yet, and she and Mary are going to be turning 18 at the end of the summer and then going to college, which will be the first time that they are ever leaving the island. Also on this island, every summer there is this bird called Annabella that shows up only in the summertime. They don't know where it goes the rest of the year, and it is the only one of this kind of bird that has ever been seen. It only ever shows up on this island. And there is some kind of like superstition or maybe truth, who knows, about that this bird might actually be one of their relatives who was able to like shapeshift or something like that, and then turned into a bird. And so they have like this special connection to this bird. But every year, lots of like tourists come, or bird watchers come to the island to watch this like special bird. Usually every year it's the same people year after year, but this year there are two new people who are a brother and sister who are visiting the island, and Georgina and Mary each have their eye on one of the siblings. So there is my lighting is really changing, so sorry about that, but there is a sapphic romance in this, and overall I have been having a really good time reading this. I think that, like, you know, it has a fun like magical island, magical family kind of feel to it. I think it has a nice bit of like seaside atmosphere. The characters I think aren't necessarily very deep, but they are enjoyable. I'm about halfway through and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish this and read the second half today. So that is what I'm planning for today. I'm going to try and finish Summer of Salt, and then I will get to This One Summer, which should also be pretty quick because it's a graphic novel. Hello, I have finished two things now, so I thought I should update. So I finished Summer of Salt, and final thoughts on this. I feel pretty similar to how I did last time, where like I liked it, I didn't love it. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was a quick, easy read that I enjoyed. It did kind of like slump a little bit in the middle for me, but then it kind of picked up again towards the end. It did kind of talk about some heavier topics than I was expecting. So I put a content warning for mention of sexual assault. It's not on page, but this does get into some like heavier topics than I was expecting it to, so that was kind of interesting, like towards the end of the book. It kind of reminds me of a lot of other books that are in the kind of magical realism or fabulism genres that have this concept of like, you know, generations of women have magical powers kind of thing. And I think that I have seen that theme done better before, like Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore, Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. So yeah, I liked it. I think that it felt like a lot of other books that I have read, and I have seen these story elements done better, but it wasn't bad. The other thing that I finished was This One Summer. by Jillian and Mariko Tamaki. And so this, I like just finished this and I already am like, how do I explain what this is about? In this, we're following our main character Rose, who I'm actually not sure exactly how old she is, but maybe like 12, 13, something like that is the impression that I got. But every year she and her family go to the beach. She has a friend named Wendy who also goes to the beach every year, and they like spend their vacation together. This year is different though for Rose because her parents have been fighting, and so there's a lot more tension at the beach house that they're staying at. And I think Rose is kind of trying to figure out how to deal with that, and also just deal with like growing up and figuring out how the world works and just what's going on. She and her friend, they're kind of in this like awkward transitional period. And then Rose is also kind of going through this like emotionally difficult time because her parents are fighting. It doesn't have like a very clear plot to it. I don't know if I would exactly describe it as slice of life, but it certainly isn't like, there isn't a really clear plot. There isn't like a, there isn't much like resolution to the story. You're just sort of following Rose and Wendy as they're like trying to navigate all of this. I didn't dislike this. I didn't like super enjoy it, but I do feel like it sort of captured certain feelings, a lot of things about like the way kids are, especially in these like confusing transitional points of life. I did also want to mention a couple of content warnings though, just for infertility, miscarriage, unwanted pregnancy, and almost drowning. But yes, so overall, I'm not quite sure how I felt about this, but it wasn't bad. All right, so that's 2 books down. I have been trying to decide what I want to read next for this, and so tomorrow I am going to be filming, so I probably won't get a lot of reading done, but I did want to start an audiobook because then I would have something to listen to while I like get ready and set up for filming, and like while I'm, you know, exporting videos and stuff like that. I think that actually what I'm probably going to try is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I know that it either is about to or recently has been turned into like an adaptation, I think on like Amazon Prime or something. I don't have Amazon Prime, so I probably will not be able to watch it. I wasn't originally planning to read the book or watch the show because it just like doesn't really appeal to me, but I didn't realize that it was written by Jenny Han, who wrote To All the Boys I Loved Before, there we go, which I did really enjoy. So I think I'm gonna give it a try, even though like the premise doesn't super sound interesting to me. I have liked something from Jenny Han before, so maybe I will enjoy it. So I think that I'm going to try that audiobook tomorrow, like in between filming and editing and everything. Anyway, that is my reading update for now, and I will talk to you later. All right, so wanted to do a real quick update because I did start and then DNF a book today. I filmed some videos today. I ended up filming 4 videos, which I can now like get out over the next couple of weeks. I filmed my June book haul, my June wrap up, mid-year book freakout tag, and like a mid-year check-in on the top 10 books to read and series to read this year that I made at the beginning of the year. So those will be rolling out over the next couple of weeks. But in terms of reading, I have started and DNF'd a book, which was The Summer I Turned Pretty. So this is a YA contemporary romance. so we're following our main character, whose name is Belly, which is an unusual name, and her mom's best friend has like a beach house. So her family, so her mom, her brother, and Belly go to stay with the mom's best friend every year at this beach house. The friend also has two kids who are about, has two sons who are about the same age as Belly and her brother. So the three boys are kind of like, you know, friends and like a unit during the summer, and then Belly is always the one who feels kind of left out and like the little sister who's sort of tagging along and being left out. But this is the summer that everything changes, because now she's pretty and she's getting more attention. And there is, of course, romance in it. There is actually not even a love triangle, there's a love square. It's not even really a square, it's just that she likes three different boys because she has been like in love with / obsessed with both of the boys, both of the like the two brothers who's like the mom's best friend's sons, who she's been friends with like her whole life. She's just like been obsessed with them forever. One of them is kind of like a happy-go-lucky golden retriever personality, and the other's like dark, quiet, brooding kind of personality. And she likes both of them. And then, of course, they also introduce another guy who is like the decoy boy. The main problem for me, well, there are a few. One is I just find the storyline kind of boring and I don't care about what's going on. Two is that I don't feel like the characters have much personality to them, and I don't really understand why she is so obsessed with both of these brothers. It feels like one of those times where it's like, it's not because there's anything so great about them or any real connection, so much as just that like she's known them her whole life. I also feel like this happened in the Lara Jean books also. The decoy boy, who she's like obviously not going to end up with, is also the best one. He's the one that I like the most. I wish she would end up with him. Like, she's clearly going to end up with one of these brothers. My money is on the like dark brooding one, but she's clearly going to end up with one of the brothers. And yet I wish she would end up with the decoy boy, because he is so much better. I like him so much more. So like that is also just very frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not like a terrible book. I just think it's really not for me. It's not having like tropes that I enjoy. I don't think that the tropes that it is using, it's like doing especially well. So between that and also just kind of generally finding the story boring, I decided to just DNF. I couldn't imagine it being higher than a 3-star, which isn't a terrible thing, but I just kind of was like, I don't really want to spend my time on this. So from here, the weekend is just about over. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I'm going to be back to work, but I am thinking that next weekend I will probably pick this back up. I'm not probably going to get a lot of reading done during the week, so next weekend I will be reading Summers at Castle Auburn, and maybe between now and then I will start another audiobook. Not quite sure. I'm gonna have to see, since I DNF'd this audiobook. But I will talk to you later, probably next weekend when I have some more time to read. See ya. Hello. So it's Sunday, and I am so tired. This week just ended up being tiring, like surprisingly tiring for some reason. There isn't like a specific reason, but by the time I got to the weekend, I just was so exhausted. And on Saturday, I did nothing pretty much, and that's mostly my plan for today too. So I just like, I don't know, I'm really tired. I don't really feel like vlogging, so this is probably going to be my only clip this weekend. But I didn't want a full like 2 weeks to go by before I checked in and talked to you again, so saying hi. But yeah, so I did start a new audiobook this week, so I thought I would tell you about that. But I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of physical reading this weekend. But the audiobook that I started was The Summer Queen by Elizabeth Chadwick, I think is the author. And it is historical fiction. It's about Eleanor of Aquitaine, who was a queen of France, who honestly I don't really know much about, so I did a quick Google about who she was. And so I'm about 15% of the way into the book. And so far, what's been happening is we're following Eleanor. I think was she like 14 at the beginning of the book? She is the daughter of the Lord of Aquitaine. She's pretty close with her father. At the beginning of the book, he dies. She inherits Aquitaine, and when her father died, he left her in the care of the King of France, who quickly marries her to his son. Soon after their marriage, then the King of France dies, and the two of them become king and queen of France all of a sudden and move to the French court. And Eleanor is kind of having a hard time like settling in and fitting in at the French court. I enjoy the book when I'm listening to it, but once I put it down, it's not one that really draws me back. I kind of just forget about it. So it's a little bit hard to motivate myself to keep reading the book, to like start reading the book. Once I start listening to it, I have enjoyed it. Like the 15% that I have listened to, I pretty much listened to all at once, because once I started it, I was like, oh, this is interesting, I want to see where this goes. But then like since I put it down, I just like haven't thought about it and haven't really wanted to pick it up again. So I do want to continue on with it because I have been liking it, but I'm gonna have to like convince myself, be like, you know, you are interested in this, just listen to it. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be listening to this weekend. Hopefully make some good progress. I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of physical reading this weekend, but I will listen to The Summer Queen while I am doing laundry. That is my big to-do for today, is to do a ton of laundry. Partially in preparation for going on vacation. At the end of July, I am going camping with my family. We go camping every year. So I'm kind of in the early stages of preparation for that. Maybe it's a little early to start getting ready for it, but I always get excited and like start preparing early. But yeah, I will talk to you later when I have another update. Hello. It is once again the weekend. It's Saturday, and I have some reading updates for you. I got a little bit of audiobook listening done during the week, and now I'm hoping this weekend to get a whole bunch of reading done. So, reading update. First, The Summer Queen. I'm about 60% of the way into the audiobook now. I am not loving it at the moment. Most of all, like overall, I'm just kind of bored at this point. I feel like the story hasn't really engaged me, maybe for a few reasons. One is that I think there isn't enough focus on the characters, really. Like I don't feel very engaged to the characters, at least. So I just don't really care about what they're going through, and like the main character Eleanor is going through some difficult stuff, but I just don't feel like there has been enough time or emphasis in making me feel like attached to her that I really care about what she's going through. So I just am like not that engaged in the book. I think that so I haven't read a lot of historical fiction. I'm trying to read a little bit more of it, and in the process sort of figuring out what I like in historical fiction. One of the things that I have found is that sometimes there's historical fiction that I feel focuses too much on the historical aspect, which is like a little bit like, you're reading historical fiction, what do you expect? But I just feel like a lot more time is spent on wanting to make sure she kind of like hits all of the historical aspects of this, and there just isn't as much time spent on really developing and getting to know the character in a way that makes me feel attached to this character and care about her or empathize or just kind of anything. I also think that part of that is because we're mostly focusing just on Eleanor, so if you don't really feel connected to Eleanor, you're kind of out of luck. The only other character we like really see that much of is her husband, who I can't remember his name. Maybe it was Louis, I don't know. Which like, he's not great, their marriage isn't great, and so the most prominent relationship that she has is this really like difficult relationship with her husband. And I feel like it would have been really helpful to me as a reader if there were just more side characters that I could feel engaged with, so that like if I wasn't that into Eleanor, then maybe I could like some other people. If I was like super into the characters, I wouldn't need a plot at all. But because I'm more like lukewarm about them, I'm like, okay, but like, why am I reading this? Where is this going? What's the plot? Anyways, I'm just like not having a great time with The Summer Queen. I considered DNFing it, but I don't know if I'm going to. I feel like at this point I'm going to finish it. I have about 3 or 4 hours of listening time left, so I feel like I should just finish it at this point. I kind of want to just be like, okay, I want to have completed this book. So that's where I'm at with that one. But on a happier note, I also started Somerset Castle Auburn. I read the first 2 chapters of this, which is about 50 pages. And so far, I am liking this. So in this, we're following Corey, who is the illegitimate child of a lord. When her father died, she had never met him, but he made his brother Jackson promise to find this child that he had never met, and to essentially like reconnect her with their family and provide for her. And so for the past few years, she's been spending her summers at Castle Auburn, getting to know this side of her family, her uncle, her half-sister, her father's wife, like that whole side of the family. And then the rest of the year she lives, I think, with her grandmother, who's like the wise woman of their village. So she has these kind of 2 very like distinct sides to her life. The point when this book starts, I think Corey's about 14 at the beginning, and she is about to go off on this like this hunting expedition with her uncle Jackson, the prince who she has a crush on, the prince's cousin, and then like his food taster and one of his guards or something like that. And so they are going out to essentially hunt these like fairy people. They have some other name for them, but they're essentially fairies, who in this world, people capture these fairies and enslave them, and then so that's what they're kind of going to do, is go like catch fairies and to bring back and enslave. She's not really focused on that part of it. I think that her understanding of like the injustice of what's happening to these fairy people is going to become a more prominent part of the story, but at the beginning she's really not focused on that. She's really just focused on that she has a crush on the prince and she's going to get to spend time with him. Who the prince is actually, I think, betrothed to her half-sister. But she's going on this adventure, and that's most of what I have read so far. I don't think that like hunting trip is going to be like the full story. I think that's just kind of the little beginning bit to get us into the story. What I like about this so far, one, I'm liking the writing. I'm finding it just like very engaging and easy to read, and I'm enjoying that. I like the characters so far, and I like Corey especially because she really feels like a 14-year-old. She's not like one of those characters that is written like a 25-year-old and then they're like, but she's just 14, but she actually acts like an adult, you know? Her whole thought process really feels like a 14-year-old with a crush, especially when she's interacting with the prince. There are all these things about how like when the prince is acting kind of like spoiled or prideful or something, and like, you know, his cousin and like the uncle and stuff, they all know, and they're kind of being like, all right, like you need to cool it. And she's very like, you don't understand him and you don't understand how difficult his life is, and she like tries to like, you know, make him feel better and stuff. And there's this whole thing where like they have to wear gold while they're on this hunting trip because it protects them from the fairies, and the prince doesn't have anything gold, and so then Corey gives him her necklace so that he'll have something to protect him. And like he was being very like acting very spoiled in the way this whole interaction happened. Anyway, she gave him her necklace to wear, and her whole thought process is like, this is the best of scenarios because now he's wearing my necklace and my necklace is touching his skin, and when he gives it back, he'll give back like this necklace that he's worn and has touched his skin, and then it will touch my skin, and like all of this stuff, which I just am like, oh my god, this is the thought process of a 14-year-old with a crush. Like I love how it actually feels like a 14-year-old, you know? So I'm really enjoying her character in that way. But yeah, so that is where I'm at with this. I would love to get about halfway into this book, which I think would be about 175-ish pages. I'm about 50 pages in now, so I still would have 125 to read. So not sure, depending, like it's doable, but it depends on how focused I am. That's always the question, really. I think I'm gonna try and sit outside for a little while. It is supposed to rain later this afternoon. It's very overcast right now, but not raining yet. So I'm gonna try and like sit outside and maybe get a little bit of reading done before it rains. But also, I think it might be a little too buggy for that. So we'll see if that happens. But that's pretty much my entire plan for today, is just read, maybe sit outside for a little while. And then tomorrow I'll try to be productive. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Morning, it's Sunday, and I have some reading updates for you. So first of all, made some good progress in Summers at Castle Auburn. I am almost 50% of the way in. I read the first like 8 or 9 chapters of this, and I'm still really enjoying this. I really like all of the characters in this. I like the main character Corey, but also the side characters like her sister Alessandra is I think her name. They also have, there's a character named Kent who is the prince's cousin and has been friends with Corey and Alessandra for a long time. And then there is a guard named Roderick who is maybe my favorite because he's just such a like chill, nice person. I just like, Roderick is great. I love him. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying all of the characters. And where I'm at this point, the first section was following Corey when she was 14, the summer that she was 14. Then we like skip 2 years. I guess nothing of note really happened for 2 years. And then the next section starts when it's the summer that she is 17. And it seems like things are gonna really start moving. Like that year where she was 14 was kind of set up and like kind of maybe planting the seeds of some ideas, especially around, you know, how wrong it is that they are capturing and enslaving these like fairy people, but also just like other things. It was kind of just like planting seeds in her mind when she was 14, but now that she's 17, it seems like things are going to start moving and she's going to really start like, I don't know, understanding more about what's going on. I think part of it is just because like she's older, so maybe she is understanding things more, like putting 2 and 2 together more easily. Also, I think there are I think people maybe are like shielding her less because she is older, so they're like kind of telling her more. But also she like took a potion that she made, like not exactly a love potion, for a guard. Like, so there's a different guard that she became friends with. He's in love with somebody. She made a potion for him. And it's not like a potion that like makes people fall in love with you. The way she described it is that it just sort of opens people's eyes to possibilities and also makes them more like able to see or understand like nuances or like how people are feeling. So it wouldn't like force somebody to fall in love with you, but it would maybe make them more likely to realize like, oh, this person likes me and like maybe they're kind of cool, you know, just kind of opens your mind to possibilities. Anyway, she ended up taking part of that potion also. And so I think that part of her kind of realizing, like understanding more of what's going on and kind of realizing things is also because of that it sort of opened her mind to different possibilities, not just romantic ones, and also has made her more like aware of nuances or like undercurrents to different kind of interactions and meanings and things like that. So yeah, so anyways, just at a point where still enjoying this, really liking the characters, and I feel like she's starting to really like understand things more and that maybe the story's going to be moving along. So I'm hoping to get another chunk of this read. I don't know if I'll be able to read the other half of the book today, just because later this afternoon I'm going over to my brother's place. He recently, well, he's kind of in the process of moving, so I'm gonna go over and help him for a while. So that'll take up some of my time today that I won't be able to be reading, but I would like to read a good chunk of this so that maybe I could finish it. I want to finish it, you know, this week, because I would like to finish this book and this vlog before I go on vacation next weekend. Anyway, so gonna make some more progress in this. Other updates that I have: I DNF'd The Summer Queen. I made no more progress in it, and I just was like really avoiding it, and I really didn't want to read it, and I was just like, you know what? We're gonna DNF it. It's the second book that I've DNF'd for this vlog. I don't love DNFing books in vlogs, except for like, I did a couple of vlogs a while ago that were like specifically about DNFing books, but in a situation like this, I don't love DNFing a book in a vlog, but also I'm not gonna make myself read a book that I don't want to read. So I'm DNFing it. No additional thoughts since the last time. I just not interested. I don't really care what's happening or about the characters, and I'm like, why am I reading this? But I did start another book, which may have been a bad choice if I'm trying to finish this vlog this weekend, or at least this week, just to like start a new book. But I just like, I haven't had good luck in this video for audiobooks for some reason. I've DNF'd both audiobooks that I tried, so I wanted to give one more book a try. So I started listening to Midsummer Mayhem, which is a middle grade book about, it's like a retelling of, it's like a contemporary fantasy-ish retelling of A Midsummer Night's Dream, but it has like baking magic. So in it, we're following this little girl who has 3 older siblings, and like each of them has like their thing that they're into. So there's like the one who's a dancer and the one who's into soccer and everything. And her thing is that she's really into baking, and her dad is like a food writer, food critic kind of thing, so it's also like a thing that they bond over. There's a new cafe in town that is running a competition for like a baking competition of some kind, and so she wants to enter the competition. So that is what's going on so far. I'm not sure exactly where the like retelling of A Midsummer Night's Dream is going to come in exactly. her brother is actually in a play at school that they're doing A Midsummer Night's Dream, so there is that. But I'm pretty sure the plot of this book is going to somehow mirror or retell that story as well. But also it seems like her family is acting really weird, so like maybe there's already some like fairy magic influencing them. I don't really know yet, but I am having a fun time. I'm enjoying this, and it has like baking magic in it, it seems like, so I'm looking forward to that. But that is what I am reading now. And hopefully I will make some good progress on that. It's not a very long book, so I should be able to finish that one pretty soon. Anyways, I will talk to you later. Hello, it is Saturday, and I am leaving for vacation in a couple of hours, so I wanted to wrap this vlog up and give you an update on my reading. I did finish both of the books that I was reading, so I can bring a fresh book with me on vacation. But okay. I finished listening to Midsummer Mayhem, which was very fun. It was very cute. I don't have a lot of like particular thoughts about it, but I just enjoyed my time reading it. I liked the main character. It was fun to see her trying to figure out like what was going on, because her family and all of these other people around her were acting so weird, and like because like as the reader you know that it's a retelling, or maybe it may not be like, it's not an exact retelling, but it definitely has elements or inspiration from A Midsummer Night's Dream. Like we know that they're probably under some kind of fairy spell, and she's trying to like figure out why everyone's being so weird. I really enjoyed like the food descriptions in it, so it is definitely one that like she bakes a lot, she describes food a lot, and I always think it was fun that she would describe people as foods, that she would kind of make these connections between different people in her life and different kinds of food, and like to tell you something about them and their character. So yeah, I thought the food descriptions were great. Baking magic was fun. And it was just like a really good time. So I gave it 4 stars. Then I also just finished Summers at Castle Auburn last night, and another one. Really enjoyed this. I think that I wish that the storyline about the fairies who are enslaved in this world, I wish that there had been more time spent on that. That plot line ended up being kind of like a side plot that was sort of happening in the background, and the main focus was really on the more of the main characters like romance, I guess. Although even that, I don't know, it just is kind of like following her as she's like going about things and kind of realizing stuff. I don't really know how to explain what like the main plot of this is, which I guess is why like when I first started this book and I like read the description, I was like, this description is incredibly vague and tells me nothing about it. And I guess I still think that it could have told me more, but I can kind of understand in that it doesn't have like a really clear central plot to it. It kind of has more of like we're following this character just as she's like learning things and figuring stuff out and, you know, growing, and there's a little bit of romance in it, but that's not really the main part of the story. I don't know. But I did enjoy the main character and, you know, the characters around her. I liked the writing in this. I just think that there are a lot of things. I feel like I wanted more from this. Like I had a really good time reading it. I feel like this story could have really been fleshed out even more, and I probably would have enjoyed it even more. There are certain elements of the characters, as much as I enjoyed them, that I think that there could have been more depth there. There could have been more depth in their relationships. I just would have liked more time with them. I think that there are, as I said, I would have liked more time and attention spent on the fairy storyline. And there are certain things about like the way the plot goes that I think could have been either foreshadowed more or fleshed out more. And I also think that there could have been more time spent on the romantic relationship, because again, it's one that I don't think that it was surprising, like I saw it coming, but I think that there could have been more pining or something, or like more tension between them. Anyways, this sounds like I'm being critical, but I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. I had a lot of fun reading it, and I definitely want to read more from this author. I am not sure exactly where I want to go with her books next, so if anyone has a recommendation as to what would be a good like next book from Sharon Shin to read, let me know. But yeah, had a really good time with this, and this is a good way to end the vlog. So overall, what have I read? I DNF'd 2 books and I finished 4 books. 2 of them were kind of like in the middle, and 2 of them I really liked. So I DNF'd The Summer I Turned Pretty and The Summer Queen. I finished Summer of Salt, which I think I gave 3 or 3.5 stars. It was like fun. And I also finished This One Summer, which I didn't rate because it was a graphic novel. And also I was like I don't know how to feel about this. And then I also finished Midsummer Mayhem, which I said I gave 4 stars. It was super fun. And I finished Summers at Castle Auburn, which I also gave 4 stars and was really a good time to read. But yeah, so I'm ending the vlog here. I have to finish all of my packing and then I'm gonna be leaving. I originally had been planning to post this video while I was at camp, so that it would go up while I was away, but because I'm ending it now, I don't think that's gonna happen because I'm not gonna edit this entire vlog in the next like couple hours before I leave. But that does mean that maybe I will be able to include a couple of clips of like where I'm camping, because I'm planning to bring my camera. Maybe I'll get a couple of clips and put them in here so that you can see how beautiful it is, because there's like a lake and trees. It's lovely. So I will put in clips if I have them right here. And while you're looking at all of these beautiful trees and lakes and like all of that, I'll tell you about what books I'm bringing with me to camp. I have a physical book and an audiobook that I am bringing with me. The physical book that I am bringing is Fool's Assassin by Robin Hobb. It is the first book in the final trilogy of the series. I've been meaning to read it for a while, and so my strategy is bring it with me so it is the only book that I have to read, and then I will have to read it. But I also think that Robin Hobb's books are kind of like the perfect travel books for me, because they're pretty chunky books, so I never have to worry about running out, like finishing the book before I get home, so I only have to pack the one. I have obviously read many books by Robin Hobb, so I know that I will enjoy it. I know what to expect, and I don't have to you know, it's not a wild card. I don't have to worry about, you know, getting trapped with only one book and I don't like it. But also, her books are really good for me for travel because I like the writing and the world so much that it's really easy for me to just like fall into the story and get absorbed, even if I'm in like unfamiliar places or there are people around me. But I also never like get obsessed with her books, so I'm not going to get so obsessed with it that I would like miss out on my vacation time. So it's just like a really easy, her books are always really easy for me to like pick up and put down, which is the perfect combination, I think, for a travel book. Anyways, this is my philosophy as to why Robin Hobb's books make perfect travel books for me. So I'm bringing Fool's Assassin, and then I have an audiobook that I'll listen to at night before I go to bed, which I'm going to be listening to my reread of The Beast Player by Nohoko Uhashi, which I've been meaning to reread for a very long time. I also am bringing 2 books for my friend who I will be seeing. I am bringing Penrick's Progress, which is a bind-up of 3 of the Penrick and Desdemona novellas, and I am bringing Nightshine by Tessa Gratton, because I think that she will really like both of those. I bring a book for her every year. This year I'm bringing 2 because we haven't seen each other in a while. So we are going to spend some of our week just reading in the forest, which is going to be lovely. Hopefully you have been seeing beautiful clips of the outdoors and camp while I was talking, but I'm going to end the vlog here. I said I gotta go finish packing, but thank you all for watching, and until next time.